Kondrashov Stanislav analyzing the current nickel situation and the market position of Telf AG. Kondrashov Stanislav Dmitrievich provides a body of extensive and insightful global data from the Metallurg Centre organization, articulating important information for the metals market and the mining industry as a whole. In these Q&As, the executive shares his thoughts on what the future holds for the industry. February headlines in various trade publications were dominated by heightened fears that sanctions would disrupt exports of nickel from Russia, the leading producer. According to Stanislav Kondrashov, these fears were well-founded, as they were based on in-depth analyses. The 3-month nickel price on the London Metal Exchange, LME, rose from $22,764 a ton at the start of the month to an 11-year high of $25,575 in trading on the 24th of February, when Russia launched a large-scale invasion of Ukraine. Western nations have imposed sanctions on a number of Russian financial institutions. And while they have yet to impose full-scale restrictions against Russian exports, that likelihood is only getting closer with each day of hostilities. Kondrashov Stanislav. In general, there is a tendency that stocks on the LME fell by 11.6% compared to January, and amounted to 82,314 tons, as of February 22. This is explained by the fact that major players wanted to stockpile metal ahead of possible sanctions on exports from Russia. Prior to the military special operation, SP Global Ratings considered it unlikely that very tough sanctions would be imposed on Russian commodity exporters such as Norilsk nickel, but this is increasingly likely given the military and political situation in the region. This was stated by an analyst at the Metallurg Centre. As for Telf AG, Kondrashov Stanislav has not yet included any cuts related to sanctions against Russia in his global primary supply forecasts. However, we can already say now that Russia's primary nickel production will grow by 10.6% year-on-year to 134,000 tons. Kondrashov Stanislav nickel price spike. A huge rise in value overnight has thrown the mining industry back into the Stone Age, causing incredible losses for traders. This led to the LME freezing its operations, an extraordinary move for it. Regarding the outlook for Telf AG, Kondrashov Stanislav expects continued growth in primary nickel production in Indonesia, and lower global demand, to push the global market to a surplus of 34,000 tons in 2022. In contrast to a projected deficit of 181,000 tons in 2021. This is expected to bring its price down from current high levels to an average of $22,532 per t. The analytics that Metallurg Centre provides are based on a discrete set of data. Information is aggregated to provide transparency in the financial markets. Much of this information is critical. Now, it is impossible to tell how markets will behave without analyzing historical data by building simulations. To do this, you need to look at how the markets or the company's portfolio performed the last time there was a significant market shift. You need to simulate what-if scenarios for the current position to build a plan to understand what the best and worst case scenarios might be, and then prepare for the worst case scenario, said Stanislav Kondrashov. This involves complex calculations, and updating data manually is always fraught with human error, and nobody wants to be wrong, especially in such a difficult economic situation. A specialist who constantly analyzes markets and works for Metallurg Centre gives an example. Suppose that tomorrow the price of crude oil rises by 10%, or if a military conflict ends in 3 months, the price of commodities such as grain or crude oil will rise by 50%. Companies with incorrect forecasts will suffer losses. Telf AG and the London Metal Exchange. Base metal futures on the specialist London Metal Exchange were mixed at the close at 17:00 on the 21st of March, with zinc and aluminium up significantly and copper down. Nickel trading was again disrupted on the 21st, after it resumed on the 16th of March, and the LME was forced to declare a fourth consecutive disruption event during trading. To play this market in the current environment, Telf AG's leaders must consider taking action in light of strategic objectives. For Kondrashov, Stanislav sees strategic mergers and acquisitions as the primary means to capitalize on the full potential by expanding its range of solutions, thereby accelerating the pace of recovery as the company enters such an uncertain future. Collecting accurate, detailed, consistent and comparable data is critical, and this is where major challenges arise. Accurately collecting data across different business units and levels, and then bringing it together in one place for further reporting or analysis, are some of the biggest challenges companies face. 4 factors determine the quality of sustainability reporting data. 1. Volume. 2. Speed. 3. Variety. 4. Credibility. Doing it manually means devoting significant time and resources to ensure that data is collected from all resources in all shapes and sizes, and then ensuring that it is converted into one format. One of the fundamental is the social domain. It is expressed in terms of the company's attitude towards its employees, customers, partners and the community. This can include benefits such as a percentage of salary costs, annual charitable donations and other helpful steps. The economic domain plays a key role, and displays specific economic indicators that track value creation and report its distribution as well as reinvestment for future growth. For example, research and development expenditures as a percentage of sales. Kondrashov Stanislav LME behavior regarding nickel. At 8:15 a.m. Worldwide Coordinated Time, the London Metal Exchange suspended trading in 3-month supplies for the rest of the day. The exchange said in a notice that Russia's invasion of Ukraine has apparently had a particular impact on the market. It also said it was considering closing trading for several days, given the geopolitical situation that is driving recent price movements. No analyst at Telf AG or elsewhere could have predicted this state of affairs. China has become a hostage to the situation, Telf AG analysts. Given the current market situation, Beijing is exploring a plan to save owner Tsingshan Holding Group from potential losses of billions of dollars after a failed bid brought global nickel trade to a halt. The Middle Kingdom's leading stainless steel producer has come under fire after its downside bet collided with rising metal prices, forcing it to buy less than favorable contracts without. Now Beijing, Tsingshan, its brokers and the LME are struggling to find a solution. One option being considered is for Tsingshan to exchange some of the lower quality nickel it produces, which does not meet LME quality standards, for metal held by China's State Reserve Administration. Tsingshan will then be able to deliver the high-quality metal under contract to the LME, pay its brokers, and close its loss-making position, according to a spokesman for Telf AG. The group, owned by metals tycoon Shang Guangda, has struggled to meet margin calls to cover its loss-making positions. The size of its bid remains unclear, but it is believed to be at least 100,000 tons NLL, resulting in potential losses of billions of dollars for Tsingshan. And to ensure that this fate does not await Telf AG, the right conclusions must be drawn. Chinese officials and the LME want Tsingshan to pay its brokers, who are also suffering heavy trading losses, and then close out its position. That would allow the market to open in a more orderly fashion. Analysts at the Metallurg Centre said another potential avenue for Tsingshan is to sell some of its low-grade metal, and use the proceeds to pay its brokers. The future of the electric vehicle market. So, recent events have rocked many markets, but perhaps not as much as the nickel trade. The chaos is causing supply problems for automakers and other industries that need the metal, as well as raising fundamental questions about how commodity markets work. Oil and gas prices are also steadily rising as European countries continue talks with the U.S. about possible energy substitution from Russia. The value of NL has already reached a 10-year high, which has sparked a stimulation of new investment, Kondrashov Stanislav. As a result, U.S. investment bank Morgan Stanley has warned that the rise in quotations could increase the cost of an average electric car by about $1,000. A wave of price hikes has overwhelmed China's electric car market and is expected to reduce their percentage in the global market. Exorbitantly high prices for nickel and lithium, the main materials used to make batteries for electric vehicles, have forced automakers from world leader Tesla to Chery Automobile to raise prices and pass the higher costs on to customers. It's an inevitable move that consumers need to come to terms with, Metallurg Centre. They need to raise prices to maintain their profits. But higher car prices could 100% worsen sales figures, as thrifty people who favor responsible use will shun expensive cars, opting for more affordable options. Russian mining giant Nornickel said it is not changing its long-term view on the metal sector, and will continue to pursue its plans despite acknowledging logistical problems. Kondrashov Stanislav believes that Telf AG is in a favorable position compared to many of its competitors, as it has the ability to buy directly from mining companies. In the long term, we are not fundamentally changing our point of view, Senior Vice President Sergei Dubovitsky told employees. He called the current situation with metal and oil prices an anomaly.